Listen up. This video is the conversation that still needs to be had about Asian beauty supply stores dominating our Black neighborhoods. Why is it so hard for Black entrepreneurs and businesses to thrive in our own communities, even though we create the culture, drive the trends, and are the primary consumers? Why are there so many Asian beauty supply stores that are dominating in our communities? So I don't know who needs to hear this, but at some point we're going to have a real conversation about Asian-owned beauty supply stores.
Korean Americans have dominated the Black hair care industry for decades, controlling the manufacturing and the distribution, according to Shop Black.
Have you ever walked into your local beauty supply store and noticed something that just doesn't sit quite right? Rows and rows of products catered to Black women, but not a Black owner in sight? Why is that? Why do Asian-owned beauty supply stores dominate neighborhoods where 90% of the clientele is Black? And where are the Black-owned beauty alternatives? So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a topic that's going to be uncomfortable for some, but critical for all of us to understand. This isn't just about hair and lashes. It's about ownership, access, and cultural control. So let's talk about it. So the dominance of Asian-owned beauty supply stores in predominantly Black neighborhoods is not a coincidence. It's a carefully structured economic pipeline, one that many Black consumers participate in, but few have ownership of.
Where are all the Black-owned beauty supply stores? Let's not just consume, let's own. Let's not just buy, let's build.
Beauty supply stores in urban areas, especially in cities like Chicago and Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and New York, are heavily trafficked by Black women and men. These customers are the backbone of the multi-billion-dollar Black beauty industry. In fact, reports estimate that Black consumers spend over $7.4 billion annually on beauty and hair care products, yet less than 10% of beauty supply stores nationwide are Black owned.
Hair care is a billion-dollar industry, and a 2018 Nielsen report shows that African Americans spent $54 million on ethnic hair and beauty products alone. Yet Fletcher told Atlanta Black Star that she and many other Black beauty supply owners have issues with getting products on their shelves from distributors who don't want to do business with them.
And then I even met a guy who actually has a large store in Georgia where he basically had to find him another face, shall I say, just so he can get the account.
That statistic should shock you. Why? Well, because the very culture that fuels this market has the least control over it. Now let's address the why. Is it a barrier to entry or a locked door? Well, many would argue that the reason we don't see more Black-owned beauty supply stores is due to lack of interest or entrepreneurial drive. But that's not entirely true. There are countless Black entrepreneurs who have attempted to break into this space, but the gatekeeping, it's real and it does exist.
Who is really gatekeeping us from having our own Black beauty supply stores in our community, and why?
Manufacturers, especially in South Korea and China, who supply hair extensions, wigs, and other beauty products, often have exclusive agreements with Korean-owned distributors. Now, this makes it nearly impossible for new, especially Black-owned stores to purchase inventory at a competitive price. And in many cases, these Black entrepreneurs are told flat out, we don't sell to your kind of store. Now, that's not just business, that's systemic exclusion. Targeting Black dollars with precision? Well, Asian-owned beauty supply stores have built their entire model around understanding the Black beauty consumer. Believe it. From stocking edge control, braiding hair, shea butter, and bonnet styles to mimicking African American slang in product naming. They don't just sell products, they sell what is familiar. But let's be clear, this is not out of cultural appreciation, folks. It's a business, it's supply and demand, and we are the demand. But what is even more disturbing here is how little cultural respect or community reinvestment actually comes back in return. Now, many of these stores operate in Black neighborhoods for decades and never hire locally. They don't engage with the community, and they very rarely give back. Yet we return over and over again.
Who is really gatekeeping us from having our own Black beauty supply stores in our community, and why? Where are all the Black-owned beauty supply stores? Let's not just consume, let's own. Let's not just buy, let's build.
So where are the Black-owned beauty supply stores? They do exist, but they are often buried beneath a lack of funding, limited access to wholesale pricing, and the looming shadow of long-time established competitors. Names like the Black-owned Beauty Supply Association and local pioneers like Beauty Bees in LA or the Hair Diagram in Atlanta, they are trying to change the game, but without collective support, their reach, it remains minimal. So why aren't these stores as successful or as visible? Well, because ownership without access is just a dream deferred. They don't have the same global supplier backing, decades of silent industry support, or community that has been groomed to default to the store around the corner. And what about cultural gatekeeping disguised as convenience? That absolutely exists. Now, here's the harsh truth. We as a community have become comfortable being the customer and not the owner. We have normalized walking into stores where we're watched and that we are not welcomed.
But there's history behind the tension. Korean Americans started selling wigs in 1960, first by going door to door, according to Minnesota Public Radio. Soon they moved into storefronts, but Blacks that frequented these shops felt unwelcomed, often reporting incidents of harassment. NPR News points to an incident in North Carolina that involved reports of an Asian store owner on camera choking a customer who was accused of stealing fake lashes.
You asked me, that's not stealing.
It's one of the many examples where Blacks reported feeling that they were being treated unfairly while shopping in Korean-owned stores.
Where we spend thousands but aren't even told thank you. Folks, it's time to ask, why are we okay with this? This isn't just about beauty products. This is about economic power, cultural ownership, and reclaiming space. If the Black beauty community is the driving force behind beauty trends and textures and techniques, why are we always standing outside the bank while someone else cashes in on our influence? Listen, this isn't about boycotting. It's about being intentional. It's about demanding more from ourselves and our community. It's also about recognizing that our collective spending power is immense, and we have the ability to redirect it toward our own economic liberation.
We need to break this cycle. Our communities deserve to have businesses that truly represent and serve them.
Exactly. It's about economic empowerment.
So listen, the next time you walk into a beauty supply store, take a moment, ask yourself who owns it, and then empower yourself to make a conscious choice about what aligns with your values and the economic future of our community. Let's not just consume, let's own. Let's not just buy, let's build. So listen, folks, this isn't a call to cancel every beauty supply store that you've ever stepped foot in. It's just a wake-up call. Let's recognize the power that we hold as consumers and how that power can shape the future of our communities. Now, if you're spending hundreds a year on hair and wigs and oils and lashes and more, ask yourself, who am I really supporting, and why does my community have the least to show for it? I think it's overdue that we have these conversations. Let's start supporting the stores that support us. And if you've got a Black-owned beauty supply store in your city, drop it in the comments. Let's start to build this list together, because it's time to reclaim what is ours. So if this video made you stop and think even for a moment, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it with someone that you think needs to hear this truth. And if you want more unfiltered commentary on beauty, culture, and real life issues that the mainstream platforms kind of shy away from, please consider subscribing and turn on those notifications. Listen, folks, I'm not here to influence. I'm just here to start and have a conversation.
Listen up. This video is the conversation that still needs to be had about Asian beauty supply stores dominating our Black neighborhoods. Why is it so hard for Black entrepreneurs and businesses to thrive in our own communities, even though we create the culture, drive the trends, and are the primary consumers? Why are there so many Asian beauty supply stores that are like dominating in our communities? So I don't know who needs to hear this, but at some point we're gonna have to have a real conversation about Asian-owned beauty supply stores.